Janusz, you said earlier, quite rightly so as well, that with a Champions League win, City are now an elite club in Europe because they have that Champions League victory. Pep Guardiola was already an elite manager. By doing this, by winning the treble in the Champions League, who is above him as far as best managers ever are concerned?
Well, I'm not one, I mean, statistics are important, and no matter what I say, somebody can throw it out there, and there are people above him. We've mentioned some, Carlo Ancelotti, obviously, a serial winner, just about everyone. He's gone. But I just look at the body of work, and to me has been incredible. I would have said the same thing today had he lost. Because, today, apart from that one tweak, which we still not 100% sure why he did it, he stopped the tinkering. He gave the team a blueprint. If Manchester City lost today, it wouldn't have been because of Pep Guardiola. They know exactly what to do. I mean, they were sensational, as I mentioned, on the run in the Premier League, in the FA Cup as well. We've seen them play at the highest level. Again, those games against Real Madrid and Arsenal, I mean, that was demolition. I mean, it wasn't even close for an Arsenal that let 3/4 of the season, and Real Madrid, defending champions, who many felt ahead of the game, that they're easily beat Manchester City. I mean, there were plenty of people thinking that. So Pep, to me, had nothing to prove. Today, I mean, everything was predictable for the most part. You knew exactly which players are going to come in second half for the most part. So to me, he is elite. He had absolutely nothing to prove ahead of this game. And this is just a confirmation that he's one of the greatest of all time. And if you want to, look at statistics, obviously, this argument may be not the best, but I mean, his stats are pretty good, aren't they?
They are indeed. We'll wrap this up shortly, but Rodri's goal, he's the first Spaniard to score the winning goal in a Champions League final, I believe, since Fernando Morientes 23 years ago for Real Madrid against Valencia. But is it that big a surprise that whether it's a deep-lying midfielder or a central midfielder has come up with a goal, like we saw with Gundogan so often, when the focus has been on Erling Haaland so much and he needs double teamed or whatever, there's going to be space elsewhere. And it's kind of fitting that one of the unsung heroes, who doesn't get much of the press, but he's so important to the team, Rodri, got the winning goal in this one.
Yeah, really fitting, and probably for two reasons. One, Pep Guardiola's decision to drop Rodri from that 2021 Champions League final against Chelsea is still a huge issue around Manchester. Pep Guardiola was asked about it in his UEFA media day in the build-up to this game. Even 2 years on, people are still talking about it. Still, people want to know why he did it. It's kind of gone down in history now as the reason why City lost that game against Chelsea. So perhaps it was fitting that it was Rodri who popped up with that goal. On top of that, yeah, you're exactly right. He's been one of City's standout players this season. And when people look back at this season, obviously they're going to remember Erling Haaland's goals. For obvious reasons, you can't score more than 50 in a season without people kind of noticing that. But if it hadn't been for Haaland's goals, I think Rodri probably would have been City's Player of the Year. He's been that good, and just this run to the Champions League final to win the Champions League. City have always scored goals in Champions League knockout games. The games that they've lost, even looking back to that semi-final against Real Madrid last season, they scored enough goals to win the game. The problem was that they couldn't keep them out at the other end. This season, I think they've conceded 5 goals throughout the entire Champions League campaign. 3 in the knockouts. They kept another clean sheet tonight. So, on top of Rodri scoring that goal, they've also defended very well. And obviously they needed Ederson to make 2 huge saves at the end tonight to win them the game. But all the way through the Champions League, they've defended an awful lot better than perhaps we've seen in previous campaigns. And, a lot of the credit will go to Ederson and to the defence, obviously, because that's their job. But also Rodri sat in front of there. The calming influence, the way he is on the ball, his ability to play under pressure, to find that simple pass is so underrated. And is one of the key reasons why City are so hard to play against.
Rob, and it's fitting for a number of other reasons because he is for me he is the best defensive midfielder in the world. But today he wasn't even the best on his team because John Stones was better. And if you really want to look at it, I think you expect Rodri to be in charge of the midfield, and it was Marcelo Brozovic who was in charge for most of the game today. So he wasn't at his best, but yet he's known to have a good goal from distance. He scored a number of goals for a defensive midfielder like that. A little bit of luck today, I think, because I think that ball went off Acerbi, Bernardo Silva, when he didn't cut it back. I think went off. I think it was Acerbi, but he still anticipated that, and inside foot. Just a beautiful goal. So yeah, sometimes you don't have to be the best, but you can make an impact, and what an impact he made.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.